This video is packed with tons of fun Valentine's Day Dollar Tree DIY crafts. Let's get started. We're going to take 4 of these wooden hearts from Dollar Tree. You can find them currently in their Valentine's Day section. I'm going to remove everything from it, the little hanging plastic piece, as well as the sticker from the back. I did the same thing to the rest of them, and then we're going to lightly sand these as well. We're just going to remove any rough surface. We're going to do the edges and the top. And then, of course, we want to wipe them well because we want to make sure that the peel and stick tile is going to stick very nicely. For these, we are going to use these silver ones that are gorgeous. We're going to remove the back and we're going to place them right on top. Now, I can only do 2 full ones, so we're just going to place them on opposite ends. And then we're going to use my blade knife once again to remove the excess. I'm going to do the same thing to the other 2. The way these hearts are shaped is that they have a curve on the outside, so it's not a straight edge. So once I cut off the excess tile on the other 2, we are going to sand it down, but this time we're going to sand it down using my electric sander. This is going to remove all that excess paper, and it's going to do 2 things. It's going to give me a smooth edge, but it's also going to distress those edges very nicely. And look how cute that looks. So distressed, so smooth edges. Love it. We're going to leave the wood tone as is. I did the same thing to the other 3, and now they all look pretty closely similar. We're going to take some Dollar Tree Valentine's Day ribbon. This one has a burlap style to it with little tiny red hearts. Gorgeous. All right, I'm going to line up all the hearts vertically, and then I'm going to cut off a piece of the ribbon that I think is going to go well. Make sure that the hearts of the ribbon as well as the hearts match the direction. Now we're going to hot glue the ribbon to the back of the heart, and I am going to leave 1 inch in between each heart. At the top, we are going to loop the ribbon, hot gluing it in place, and this is where we can then hang it. Dollar Tree currently carries these little felt hearts, and they are stickers. They're really nice for crafting. I'm going to take 4 of them of the larger size because they come in different sizes and different colors. We're going to take 4 of the red ones, remove the back, and place them directly in the center. This is going to really make everything pop. It's going to complement the ribbon, and it's just going to look nice and festive. Now that everything looks very nicely, we are going to add some greenery. I've had this pick for a while, and I'm just going to start cutting it. I believe I got it maybe at the store at home. I don't remember. It's been with me for a while, so I'm just going to cut off a few little branches, hot glue them to the top of each heart, making sure that each of them are facing opposite ways. Now, to cover up the little cutout stem and some of the glue, I'm just going to add a tiny little leaf right in the front of each one. This is going to clean it up and make it look very nice and professional. Love the way this one turned out. It's one of my favorites. I love the festivity of it, but yet so simple. Let me know what you think. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we are going to take 1 of these circles from this arrangement. I've used the other 2, and I have this one left over. I'm going to remove the paper covering from it, and I'm going to lightly sand it just to remove and soften everything out. We're going to use this beautiful tile from Dollar Tree, and it has a bluish kind of silver tone to it. Again, we're just going to remove the back, and we're going to place it right on top. We're going to take my blade knife once again, remove the excess, and then we're going to sand down those edges as well as roughen up the surface. That way it's just going to be able to adhere to the paint very nicely. We're going to put that to the side to dry. We're going to take 1 of these tiny little mini wreaths from Dollar Tree. They come 2 in a pack, and we're just going to need 1 for today. We're also going to take this beautiful buffalo check red and white style ribbon from their Valentine's Day collection. We're going to wrap the entire wreath with it, securing it in the beginning and at the end with some hot glue. Once the ribbon was securely in place, I'm just going to cut off the excess and we're going to bring in some foam from Dollar Tree. I'm going to cut off a piece, maybe about an inch thick, and we're going to poke 2 holes and thread some pipe cleaner through it. We're going to add hot glue to the right side of the wreath and we're going to add it and then tie it in the back. This is because we're going to add some florals and I want something to be able to hang on to that floral. I'm going to cut off the excess pipe cleaner and then we're going to add the circle piece right onto it. We are going to distress it first. Again, we're going to do the same thing we did earlier. Lightly distress it to reveal some of that texture. Hot glue it to the foam. And then we're going to add more of that greenery pick that we added earlier, where these are little larger branches. We're going to add it right onto the foam behind the wooden round. Beautiful. All right, so now we're going to add one of these love pieces that you can find at Dollar Tree currently. It's a wood cutout, and it has a kind of like a glittery golden tone. It is gorgeous. I used one recently, and I love it. They come 3 in a pack. We're going to hot glue it right onto the center of the circle. Now, I do want to add some more of those felt hearts, but this time we're going to add small ones. We're going to have 4 of them, just tilt them in different directions, and one of them is going to overlap the edge. We're just going to cut off the excess, and I think it just added beautiful color tone to it. Now, I do want to add some white little flowers. I just felt like it was missing something. So I'm just going to add one from the front and the bottom, and I think it turned out absolutely gorgeous. You can add this to a cabinet door, to a door, to wherever you want. What do you think of this one? Sticker DIY craft. I'm going to take this beautiful craft paper. Now, this came out of a book that I got. I believe it was Hobby Lobby or Michael's. And I'm just going to fold it that way. So we're going to turn it around into like a diamond shape. And we're going to fold the bottom corner all the way to where it goes about 2 inches past the midsection. I'm going to use my scraper to really fold it very tightly. And then I am going to take the sides and I am going to fold it inwards, making sure the bottom aligns and making sure that the corner goes just past that middle section. Same thing with the other side. We're going to create an envelope. Fold it, make sure it aligns, and that it goes past the middle section, just like that. We're going to do the same thing to the top. We're going to bring it down, we're going to fold it, and then use the scraper to really make sure those creases are nicely folded. Open everything up, and now we're going to cut those middle sections where both folds met. We're going to cut that off because we want those corners not to be so bulky. So I'm going to do the same thing on all 4 sides. And now that they're cut, it's going to fold very nicely and it's not going to be so bulky on the sides. Now we want to trim some of these edges here. So these are just the 2 sides. We're going to trim some of the top. We're going to go from the corner to where it meets the top portion of the envelope, and we're going to cut that off. Again, we're just cleaning off edges and sides. That way it's going to fold nice and pretty. I did the same thing on the other side, and now when you fold it, it's just going to look nice and clean and very neat. Now we want to remove that middle portion. So once I have it folded, I'm just going to mark with my pencil and we're going to remove that portion again just to clean it off. You can use an X-Acto knife, but scissors work really well. Now that it's folded, it's looking so nice. All right, so now we're going to take some double-sided tape. I get this at on Amazon, but you can find at Dollar Tree as well. I'm just going to fold it onto itself, and the 2-sided tape, it's going to hold it in place. So just add tape wherever you need it, making sure that it's not going to glue to the inside of the envelope, just the outside, just like that. Once again, we're going to clean off some of these edges, just make them nice and neat. And we're going to remove some of the sides of this, and we're just going to cut it again with the scissors. Now it's time to add something on the inside. Now I wanted to add maybe like a letter or something to it, but I decided to just go ahead and grab one of these doilies. Recently I did a Christmas video and it had doilies and I had some left over. I'm going to cut one of the smaller ones in half and then cut off one of the sides to make it nice and flat so it fits inside. This is just so that we can add something on the inside, but by all means you can add a letter, you can add anything you want to the inside. You can even add florals, which I think would be gorgeous. I'm going to use the same double-sided tape just to secure the doilies in place. And it looks so chic. I love it. All right, so now we're going to bring in this beautiful sticker set from Dollar Tree. It has just so many designs. This would be great for scrapbooking or even card making. So I'm going to take the one that says hearts and I'm going to place it right there in the center of the envelope, looking gorgeous. Holy moly. All right, so now we're going to poke a hole to the top with my hole puncher, and we're going to take some of this lacy ribbon from Dollar Tree. We are going to make a very simple bow. Again, we're going to keep it pretty simple. Once I have it in the shape and size that I want, I'm just going to cut off the ends, and then we're going to thread more ribbon right through the hole, make a very simple knot in the top, and then we're going to hot glue the bow right underneath the little hole. That way it'll be nice and simple and so sweet and beautiful. This is one of my favorites. I love the craft paper, and that heart sticker is stunning. It has a metallic golden look. Love, love, love. What do you think of this one? We're going to start with a larger one, remove the sticker, and we're going to give it a quick dusting scrub. They get a little dusty sitting on the shelf sometimes, so just wipe them well. I'm going to remove the cap from it. We're going to put that to the side because we're not going to need it. I'm going to give it a couple of coats of this beautiful pink tone chalk paint by Rust-Oleum. I love, love, love this pink. It's very soft and neutral and is one of my favorites. I give it a couple of coats. I was not looking for perfection. While that's dry, I'm going to take these two craft papers. They have different designs, but they complement each other really nicely. I cut off a square, and I am going to cut off about a 1/2 inch from each side, and I'm literally just going to tear it. I want to see that torn look on the edges. So I'm going to do that on all sides. I'm going to cut off another square from the other design, and this time we're just going to lightly fold it without causing a crease, and then we're going to cut off the shape of a heart. So just use your scissors and just cut it a half heart, and then you're going to have a full heart. Once you open it up, it's nicely and even. We're going to attach this to the front of the piece of paper, and we're going to do it using some double-sided tape. I get these tape at Amazon, and I do have it in my Amazon store, which is linked down below if you're interested. I'm going to damp a little bit of this towel, and I'm just going to wet distress the jar. You don't have to do this if you do not like the distress look. I wanted to give it a little bit of a worn and torn style, so I'm just going to start rubbing some of the paint off here and there, and then we are going to take my crocodile. If you do not have a crocodile, you can use a hole puncher, but crocodiles are on Amazon, and I do have it on my Amazon store as well. I'm going to poke 2 holes just like that, just so that they can hang like this, and the heart is going to be in a tilted motion. I'm going to take some jute string and wrap it around the jar right on top on the thread, and then I'm going to thread the jute string each end through each hole and make a very simple bow in the front. And then once you have the bow in the size you want, just cut off the excess string from the bottom. Now we are going to take these tiny little flowers and just hot glue them right there in the center, keeping it simple, keeping it very feminine. I love this style, such a relaxed style. This hydrangea is gorgeous. It's from Walmart. I don't remember the price, but I love, love, love the colors, and I think it complements the entire design very nicely. Boy, is this a very beautiful, romantic Valentine's Day craft. What do you think of it? Let me know down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree mason jar craft, we're going to take another one of the larger ones, and we're going to remove the cap. We are going to again dust it, again just to remove any dust, and then we are going to take this beautiful wrapping paper. Now this one is from Home Goods. I found this in clearance at the end of the Valentine's Day season. Originally was $2.99 and I got it for 50% off. Great deal. The quality of this paper is amazing. I cut off a piece that it's about maybe 8 inches wide, and I'm just going to roll it in the opposite direction so that it removes that curve that it had. Then I'm going to tear some pieces from the sides where again we're looking for that torn look, and I'm going to do that to the top and the bottom until I have a size that fits my jar. So just keep looking and measuring and tearing until you have the size that you need. If you do not like the torn look, don't do it. Just cut it. It is okay. Now, once I had a size that fits, I'm going to take some drop cloth and I'm going to cut off a piece. Now, drop cloth, if you tear it, it leaves this frayed, torn look that I love. So I'm just going to keep tearing until I have a size that fits inside of the wrapping paper, but you can still see some of the design in the back. So once I had that, we are going to wrap everything around the mason jar. To attach the wrapping paper, I'm going to use some of that double-sided tape, and we're going to wrap it around and then just fold it. That way it'll attach nicely. Then we are going to attach the drop cloth, but this time we're going to do it using hot glue. So we're going to start where the seam of the wrapping paper is and wrap it around the jar, making sure that it's centered to the wrapping paper. Doesn't that already look so beautiful? Now you can leave it as is, but I decided to add some jute string. So I'm just going to cut off a piece that's long enough to go around the jar, maybe 3 or 4 times, give or take. I'm going to do that, and then we're going to tie it in a very simple bow again in the front of the jar. So just make sure that you size the bow whatever size you want. Now I'm going to bring in that piece of craft paper that we used earlier in my hard hole puncher. I get these on Amazon. They come in a pack, and it is in my Amazon store with different shapes, and you just want to use it as a hole puncher. And then once you cut out the design, it is on the bottom. You open it up and you have a cute little heart sign. Oh my gosh, I love, love, love this. And it comes with different shapes, so it is linked below. We're going to hot glue it right to the center of the bow, and then we're going to bring in these hearts. These are felt sticker hearts that you can find at Dollar Tree. And for this one, we're going to use a small pink one because they come in different sizes and colors. Remove the back and place it at a tilted angle right in front of that other heart. Look how cute that looks. And it really complements the wrapping paper nicely. These beautiful vibrant flowers are from Dollar Tree. We're going to cut off the stem. We're going to place them right inside. And this other one that I don't know where it came from, but it looks pretty. But look how gorgeous this is. Again, the simplicity, so romantic, so feminine. Love, love, love this piece. What do you think of this one? Let me know down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree mason jar DIY craft, I'm going to take a piece of cardboard. It could be any cardboard. I'm going to freehand a heart. Now, I made sure that this heart fits inside of my mason jar, okay? Keep that in mind. And I'm using a smaller mason jar. Once I have it cut, I use my blade knife. I'm just going to wrap it around with some white yarn. You can use any yarn, any color design you want, but I'm going to use white, and I'm just going to keep wrapping it around, making sure that I'm pulling and tugging so it's not going to fall off on me. Hot glue the end, cut off the excess. Now I'm going to take another one of those felt hearts. I'm going to take the larger size. I'm going to trace it and cut it because I want 3 hearts. I want a larger one, a medium, and a small one. So for this medium one, we are going to cut it off with my scissors, and then we're going to remove the sticker portion and place it right in the front. Now I see some of the white, so we're going to trim that off and make sure that it looks nice and clean. We're going to do the same thing. This time we're going to use a pink heart again in the smaller size, put it on the cardboard, and then we're just going to cut off the excess. Now I'm going to take some foam from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to cut off a piece that will fit right inside the lid of the jar, and we're going to hot glue it right in on it. That way it's going to hold, and it's going to hold everything in place, really. Now we're going to take this skewer stick, and we are going to hot glue it inside each heart. Now for the bigger one, we're just going to place it right inside, and then we're going to hot glue it onto the foam. For the 2 other ones, we're going to hot glue it to the back, and then add another sticker to hold it in place. This craft is taking shape, and now we're going to cover that foam up using some reindeer moss from Dollar Tree. You can hot glue it in place, or you can just place it in there. It's okay. We're going to remove the sticker from the jar, and then we're going to just snug everything in there very carefully and just tighten the jar onto the lid. And now we're going to bring in this beautiful buffalo check red and white ribbon from Dollar Tree. We're going to fold it in 3, and we're going to wrap it around the lid. I didn't like the golden tone. I feel like it didn't look right. So we're just going to wrap it and hide it, cut off the excess, and secure it with some hot glue. We're going to take some greenery, and we're going to hot glue 2 pieces to the front of the jar, right there where the ribbon is. And then we're going to add 1 more heart. These are wooden stickers, actually, and they have beautiful colors and designs. We're going to take a small red one, and we're going to hot glue it right there in the center. And that's it. What a beautiful and easy craft you can make. You can make this with friends, with your kiddos, grandkids. Love the style, and you can choose any color combination you want. Let me know what you think of this one. For the next Dollar Tree mason jar DIY craft, I'm going to take one of these smaller doilies that come in a heart shape. I saw these and I grabbed a few from each size and each color. I'm also going to use these hearts. They are not stickers. They are more like a cardboard, but they are beautiful. I'm going to take a small one and I'm going to spray the back with some adhesive spray and place it right on top of the white heart doily. How cute. All right. You remember these wooden love pieces? Well, they also have these XO ones, and I'm a little bit obsessed with these. I ran out of the love ones, so we're going to use these XO. We're going to hot glue it in a tilted position right in front of the heart, just like that. This is a thrifted mason jar that I got at the thrift store. We're going to use the back of it because the front has that mason jar style and texture. And we're going to hot glue the heart right on there. And this is another one we're going to keep very simple. I am going to cover the thread on the top with some white jute string. Just wrap it around until it's covered. Make a very simple knot. Cut off the excess on the back. And we're going to keep it simple, my friends. I'm just going to add greenery to this one. But I tell you what, if you put some roses, some red roses on this mason jar, that will be stunning. Let me know what you think. To start with this wooden heart, and we are going to pair it with a beautifully designed napkin. We're going to remove the jute string from it, and then we're going to lightly sand it. Often these wood pieces have like a rough texture to them, so just a light sand would do its work, and then wipe it really well. We're going to paint it white, but you can use any color you want, whatever style you need to complement the napkin you're going to be using. So we are going to give this one just one coat and let that dry. We're going to bring in this beautiful napkin. It is gorgeous. I love that it has that floral design, perfect for spring and summer. We're going to open it up. Now, if you have a multi-ply napkin, just remove all the plies, leaving only the top design on it. Now that the heart is dry, we're just going to lightly sand it again and wipe it really well, removing any dust. We're going to use Mod Podge for this project, so if you have Mod Podge, get that out. You can use any one you will have. I do have a matte, which is my preferred one. I'm going to add it all over the heart, just giving it a nice, kind of like a medium to thick coat, and then we're going to place the napkin right on top. Just find the angle of the napkin that best matches whatever you have and whatever you're going to be covering. So I'm just going to take my time, very carefully pull and flatten as I go. Now napkins are very thin, so we want to make sure that we're treating it very lightly. Once it was attached, I'm just going to take my braille and I'm just going to start flattening it out as much as I can to remove the bubbles. And then we are going to sand down the edges using the soft grit on my sanding block. You could also use an X-Acto knife, but sanding it downward really helps to remove that excess paper and leaving smooth edges. For the tight corners, I like using my nail filer because it gives it the same effect, but it can get into smaller spaces. These little wood cutouts you can find at Dollar Tree year-round. They have these for Valentine's Day. We are going to take one of them. They come 3 in a pack. Really cute. And we're just going to hot glue it towards the kind of like middle right side of the heart, because we are going to add some florals to the top, so we don't want to hide it. Once it's attached, it's time to add some ribbon. Now, Dollar Tree has out some cute ribbon, beautiful colors for Valentine's Day, and I'm just going to take this felt one. It's kind of like a velvety, I guess. We're just going to cut a piece, and we're going to hot glue it to the back. Now, nothing fancy. It is a light piece, so you don't need to tape it or anything. I'm just going to hot glue it, and that would be sufficient. We're going to flick it back to the front, and we're going to start adding some florals. These are just some greeneries that I have on hand from years and months, and I just pulled them out. These are my spring and summer stash, and I'm just going to start adding some in different directions, but they're all going to originate from the upper left corner of the heart. Now that I have the greenery in place, I'm just going to start adding some of these pink lilies. Again, from last year's stash, I'm going to add a couple of them, and I think they really complements the design of the heart overall. And this is such an easy craft that anyone can do with minimal expense. What do you think of it? Let me know down in the comments. For the next Dollar Tree DIY craft, I'm going to start with this foam hearts. You can find these at their Dollar Tree currently for Valentine's Day. I love the size of it, and I love how 3D it is. So I'm just going to take everything off of it, and then I'm going to take a ribbon from Dollar Tree. Now, these are from their Easter selection. They already have them out front, so get on it. Go to Dollar Tree and find these beautiful items. All right, so we're going to cut off a piece. I would say it's probably about 15 inches long, give or take. I'm going to poke a hole with my scissors right at the top of the heart, add some hot glue, and we're just going to thread in, just push in that ribbon right there. We're going to add a little bit more hot glue and then add the other end. We're going to create a hanging heart, so we want to make sure it's nice and secure. You want to do this before you add the napkin, okay? So now for this one, we're going to use this beautiful plaid style napkin. I love the colors. We're going to start with 4 of them. I did add a lot more, but we're going to start with 4, and we're just going to start stacking them one on top of each other. Now, I made the mistake of leaving the plies on it. I would suggest just remove the plies before you cut them, okay? Because I did have to remove a lot of the plies because it was kind of like separating as I was adding them to the heart. And I'll let you know as I go. You'll see. All right, so now that I have them stacked, I'm just going to cut them in little squares or rectangles. It does not have to be perfect, friends. Just do it in whatever size you want. I'm going to take a eraser part of the pencil, and I'm just going to start placing them in the center and just scrunching it, just like you see there. Adding hot glue and then adding it with the pencil. I'm going to keep doing this. Now, I started with placing the pencil on the white side of the napkin. I changed my mind later and I started doing it on the design portion because I wanted to be able to see the design more. So just keep that in mind. And again, I just removed any plies that were kind of flaring off as needed. I did this until the entire heart was covered. It takes some time, but it is so worth it. Just put some music on, maybe a movie on the TV, and just keep applying. It's fun. All right, so the heart is covered, and we are just going to start trimming whatever you want to trim, okay? You just want to keep that shape of the heart. If you're doing anything else, just do it. It doesn't matter. But I think it turned out so beautiful. It's a little time consuming, very, very much worth it. I love the color scheme. But what do you think of this one? Let me know down in the comments. I'm going to take one of these Dollar Tree Plus wooden signs. This one is gorgeous. I don't remember how much it was because I did remove the price before, like once I got home. It was either $3 or $5, but it's such a good size. Now, this is the napkin I'm going to be using. What a beautiful springtime design. Again, I'm going to remove the back ply and just reveal just one front portion. I am going to paint the board white, but keep in mind you can do whatever color you want. Just depends on what napkin you're using. I'm going to give it one coat of the Waverly chalk pen in the white, and I'm just going to put that to the side and let it dry. Now I'm going to cut off just the design of the bottom napkin. So that way we're just going to be Mod Podging the actual designs. And I'm going to pull off both designs because we're going to put one on the top as well as the bottom of the board. I'm going to lightly sand the surface just to make it nice and smooth once it was dry, and then remove any dust. Now, again, we're going to use Mod Podge, so I'm just going to add it liberally to each side and start applying the napkin very carefully, removing as many bubbles as you can, but don't stress about them. And then we're going to add one more coat of the Mod Podge right on top, flattening everything out and sealing it. And we'll do the same thing on the top one. I let that dry for a few minutes under a fan and it is perfectly set. Now I'm going to remove the excess napkin from the corners using my nail filer, and it wasn't too much, but it did smooth out some of those edges. And then I'm going to take my sanding block and I am going to sand down smooth some of the roughness that sometimes it leaves. That way it's going to, two things, smooth it out as well as give it a tiny little bit of distress. These heart-shaped wooden stickers are at Dollar Tree currently in their Valentine's Day section. Love, love, love these. I'm going to create a little, kind of like a banner style. So I'm going to take some jute string. I'm going to attach it to the back using hot glue as well as masking tape and leaving enough give in the front so it looks like it has like a little loop to it. So just to make sure you do that. Did the same thing on the other side. Now the little hearts, I have red ones, pink, and wooden tone ones. Because the design of the napkins didn't have any red, I'm not going to use the red hearts, but I am going to use the pink ones and the wood tones, and it really complements the sign very nicely. I did have to switch in sizes here and there until I decided what kind of looked right. You can see that I added a larger one to the other side. I didn't like the way that looked, so I just removed it and replace it with a smaller wood tone one, and I think this is gorgeous. If you have a Cricut, you could create a graphic and add it to there, maybe something that says springtime, whatever you want. What do you think of this one? I'm going to start with one of these wooden hearts. Now, of course, you can use this for Valentine's Day, but you can also really make this into a spring decor, and I'm going to show you how. I'm going to spray adhesive this beautiful craft paper. This craft paper came from a book that I purchased at Hobby Lobby quite a bit ago. I sprayed one coat, and then I'm just going to place the paper right on top, flattening it out. Then I'm going to use my sanding block, and I'm just going to sand downward the excess paper. This is going to smooth out these edges, remove the paper, and I'm also going to use a nail filer to remove the ones in the tight corners. I'm going to use this burlap ribbon. Is gorgeous. This one is actually from Dollar General. I'm just going to place in the middle with a little bit of a tilt, and I'm going to hot glue it in place. Then I'm going to take my scissors, and I'm just going to cut very closely to the edge of the heart to give it that nice rounded shape. I am now going to use this beautiful pink velvet ribbon from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to hot glue it right in the center, keeping the same angle. I'm going to cut off the edges, again really close to the edge, and then we're going to bring this burlap polka dot one from Dollar Tree as well and place it right on top. Gorgeous. I love layering things, and I love layering ribbon. Again, we're going to cut off the excess in the nice rounded shape. This flower came from last year's stash. I removed the stem from it, and I'm just going to add hot glue to the edge as well as the center, and we're just going to place it right there towards the right side of the heart. Beautiful. These green leaves are just extra ones that I had left over from other picks. I'm going to hot glue one towards the top and another one towards the bottom. It's just going to add a pop of color and freshness to the entire design. And then I'm going to add a little piece of burlap ribbon to the back. We're just going to loop it, hot glue it in place. And so that it looks nice and clean, I'm going to add another piece of that velvet pink ribbon just to kind of, I don't know, clean it up. But I think it looks gorgeous, my friends. Wow. This is definitely one of my favorites from today. I love the textures. I love the design. But what do you think of it? Let me know down in the comments. For this next spring Dollar Tree DIY craft, I'm going to take this heart-shaped wreath form. You can find these during the Valentine's Day season or leading to it. We're going to cut up several of these burlap ribbon. This one is from burlapfabric.com, but you can use Dollar Tree's burlap ribbon as well. I'm going to cut these into 6 inches long, then I'm going to stack them together, and I'm just going to dovetail cut the ends. I cut enough to go around the wreath form, but don't worry if you don't cut enough. Just start with a small amount and then just add more if you need to so you don't waste any ribbon. Now I'm going to just thread them through the outward portion of the wire, and we're going to loop it and hot glue it to itself, just like that. And we're going to do that all around the heart, all around the outside perimeter. If you get to a place where you have a wire in between, don't worry. All you got to do is just kind of look where you need to make a slit, and you just slit one side, and then you can just hot glue it one on each side of the wire, just like that. We're going to do it again in a little bit, and I'll show you. So we're going to finalize this last layer, and then we're going to bring in some nautical rope from Dollar Tree. This is the white kind. You can find this year round. We're going to wrap around the 2 middle wire portion. This took me a little bit, and it's okay. I just put on a movie or some music, and you just start wrapping it around. The key here is to hot glue as needed, especially in the ones that have an angle or also rounded. But just take your time and start wrapping it around. So we have the entire middle portion now wrapped up. Now we're going to take this beautiful Dollar Tree heart ribbon. We're going to cut it into 7-inch strips. Again, just cut a few, and if you need more, then cut more. We're then going to do the same thing we did earlier. We're going to fold it, and we're going to dovetail cut those ends because we want it to match the design of the other ribbon. And then we're going to attach it to the wreath but this time we're going to do it on the back side of the wreath. So I cut each ribbon in half, just like you see there, and I'm going to start hot gluing. Now I'm going to start in the top, and I'm going to make sure that each layer overlaps to the next one just a little bit. It doesn't have to overlap much. Just a little bit will do, and I did that all around the heart. So we're just about done adding the red ribbon. Now, as you can tell, the design is on the back of the wreath. This is because we're not going to pull them forward, just like that. And I'm going to use my scissors. The ones that are behind a wire, I'm going to show you because we're going to cut those again. So I'm going to keep pulling them so that we can reveal the beautiful design on top of the burlap. Now, the ones with the wire in between is the same thing as earlier. We're just going to make a slit right where we need to, right where the wire is, and then you're going to pull it forward. And I'm going to do it again twice so you can see it. Right there, we're going to cut right where that wire is, and then we're going to pull it forward. And one more time, we're just going to make a cut to the ribbon where the wire is, and then pull it forward. It's so easy, and it just makes things so much easier because you don't have to worry about making sure it fits. All right, so now we're going to add some leaf. Again, these are just extra ones that I've had from other pigs. I'm going to add 3 of these darker green tones, one for the bottom to the top, and then one towards the outside of the upper right side corner. Then I'm going to add these lighter tone green leaves just right on top. It doesn't matter. And then this beautiful, it has like a deep red, kind of like a pinkish tone, but I love how it complements everything and it brings everything together. And this wreath is absolutely gorgeous. How romantic, how simple, how easy, and how fun. Let me know what you think of this one. Spring DIY craft, I'm going to take this love sign from Dollar Tree and I'm going to remove the little wreath it had. It was cute as it is, but we are going to make it even better. I'm also going to remove any excess glue and just roughen up the surface just by lightly sanding it and wiping it really well. I'm going to cover everything up with some white paint. This is Waverly chalk paint in the white. Once it was dry, we're going to take this beautiful ribbon from Dollar Tree, and it has this gorgeous rope style, but it has a pink tone to it as well. I'm going to line the 3 letters, the L, the V, and the E with it, and I'm just going to hot glue and cut as needed. Now that those 3 letters are covered, we're going to take the O and we're going to add this cute little wreath form and we're going to hot glue it in place. Now we're going to keep it kind of simple, but I do want to complement the pink in the ribbon. So I'm going to take these flowers from Dollar Tree as well as the leaves and we're going to hot glue it all around the wreath form. I'm going to take this frame. I had already used this for the fall season, so I'm going to mark where I need to add hot glue, and that way we're not adding too much excess. We're going to hot glue it, and that's it. What an easy craft anyone can do. Now the love sign was pretty as it was, but let me tell you, adding the spring tones really took it to the next level. I would love to know what you think of this one. Let me know. DIY craft, we're going to start with one of these wooden hearts from Dollar Tree. You can find these during the Valentine's Day season. I'm going to remove the jute string and we're going to give it 1 coat of Waverly chalk paint in the white. We're going to put that to the side, let it dry. We're going to take a couple of these wood slices that I do get on Amazon and the pink tone glittery sheet. I'm going to trace this X and O right on it. These are just some letters that I have on hand, and then we're going to cut them using my X-Acto knife. I want this to be a Valentine's Day themed, but you can take the inspiration and use it for any other decor you'd like or season. Once I have them cut, it's as easy as peeling the back like a sticker and placing 1 in each wood slice. Now that the wooden heart is dry, we're just going to plank it. We're going to take a permanent marker and a ruler and just start adding planks. You can skip this part, but I just thought it added a nice touch and just kind of texture and look. I'm going to dry brush some antiquing wax. This is Waverly antiquing wax. I'm just going to dry brush this on the edges. Take your time. I'm also going to distress it just a little bit here and there, and then sand it down just to mute it and really blend it in. We're going to wipe it well, and then we're going to take a permanent marker. This is a thicker one. We're going to line the edges. This is just going to add dimension to the heart. Now, I did mess up right there. You see how I went inwards? Don't worry if you do that. All I did was I basically filled it in and added more of a little bit of a heavier distress to it. It actually worked out really well. I added a few more just to complement that one. And so I think I like the way it turned out. So if you do that, don't panic, just fill it in. There it is. How cute. All right, we're going to hot glue each wood slice towards the left side of the heart, one on top of each other, spelling the phrase XO. And then we're going to grab some of these beautiful purple, kind of like a deep pink flowers from Dollar Tree. We're going to make a little bundle with some jute string, hot glue it to the right side of the heart, right there. Now we're going to take some Dollar Tree nautical rope. We're going to make a faux knot. We're just going to make a knot very tightly, cut off the excess from the top and the bottom, and hot glue it to the front, just like that. We're going to do it again for the other side. Again, just make a very tight knot, remove the top and the bottom excess rope, and hot glue it to the top. Very easy. Then we're going to add more rope to the back. This is just going to make it seem like it's hanging through the knots, but really it's not. It's such an easy way to hang your signs. All right, I added hot glue, but I'm also going to add a little bit of masking tape just to add more security. And look how gorgeous this looks. You can use any color combinations you want. Love, love, love the way this turned out, but let me know what you think. For the next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we're going to start with this wooden stake. I found this in the garden center at the hardware store. It has a stake-like look on one side, but it's flat on the other side. And I thought, how perfect, and it was really inexpensive. I'm going to cut a few pieces off of it. One's going to be about 3 inches, the other one about 4 inches, and then about 4.5 to 5 inches. I just want all of them to have different sizes. I'm going to sand them down just a little bit to remove any splinters and wipe them really well. Then I'm going to paint them white, but I'm also going to give it a distressed look. I'm going to give it a heavy dry brush and just going to add some white paint, but make it look like it's a little bit distressed. I'm going to put that to the side for a few minutes to dry, and then we're going to bring in my shape puncher. Look how cute these are. I love these. They come in different shapes like a heart, star, flowers, snowflake, you name it. I got this on Amazon, and it is in my Amazon store if you want to check it out. I'm going to punch 3 of them just to have an extra one just in case I need it. But look how cool. You just literally punch it, open the bottom, and there's your little sticker. How fun. You can also use the actual cutout as part of another craft. So it's up to you. I'm going to hot glue 2 pieces together and make a bundle of 2, or 2 bundles of 2. There you go. And then we're going to place a little heart right there in the center of each one. Then we're going to take some jute string and we're going to wrap it around each bundle. You don't have to wrap it around a lot because you don't want to cover the heart. Just make a very simple knot and make sure that the jute string excess, the strings just lay flat to the front. That's it. Very easy. I'm going to do the same thing to the other side as well. Now we want this to look like little people hugging. So I'm going to bring in these little wood beads and we're going to hot glue them to the top, and that's going to be their heads. Now I left them in the bare wood. I thought it contrasted very nicely, but you can add color if you'd like. It's completely up to you. I thought this was such a cute craft. I was inspired by what I saw on Pinterest. Love the look, love the colors, and I love how fresh and beautiful it is. What do you think of this one? For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we're going to start with one of these glass cutting boards. You can find these at Dollar Tree, and they are in the home section, kind of like the utensil section. We're going to trace these cute little flowers I found online, and we're going to take 2 different shades, the pink, the purple, and the golden tone. And then the little circle in the center of each flower, we're just going to use a different color, and that way they complement each other. So we're just going to trace with the carbon paper, cut with my scissors, and then as easy as removing the back, just like a sticker, and then placing them on the cutting board. Now, you can place them wherever you want, or you can even make more flowers. It's whatever you want to do. I'm going to place them towards the bottom left. And again, we're just going to remove the back and add them like stickers, and then add different tone or shade, a color of the center. And that way, again, it just complements each other. Now, for the top portion, I feel like something was missing. I found these wooden love pieces at Dollar Tree in their Valentine's aisle. They come 3 in a pack. I've already used 2 of them. I'm a little obsessed with them at the moment. And I'm going to use my last one. I'm just going to hot glue it towards the, I don't know, maybe top left corner, just wherever you want. Use your imagination. Now, this could be a plant holder. This could be a jewelry holder, little knickknacks holder, whatever you want it for. But I think it's gorgeous. Such a fresh look. But let me know what you think of this one. Dollar Tree DIY craft. You can find these wood blanks at Dollar Tree year-round in different shapes. This one is a heart shaped and I loved it. I got it for Valentine's Day and I had it left over and I said, let's do something fun and girly for my daughter. I'm going to use Waverly chalk paint in the wine. We're going to dry brush it. I still want to see a lot of that wooden tones, but I just want to lighten it up just a little bit. Dry brushing simply means you add a little bit of paint on your brush and then you just brush very lightly. Just dry it. It's like literally dry brushing and it dries really quick. I'm going to take off any excess paint that dripped on the edges and then I'm going to lightly sand the surface just to smooth things out and of course remove all dust. I am going to paint the beads in this beautiful blush pink by Rust-Oleum chalk paint, but I'm going to do every other bead just to add a touch of color because it will match and actually will bring everything together once you see the decal that we are going to use. Now this decal, of course, is one that you can place on your wall. It has a cute little bear, but I want to use these hearts. I love the tones that it has, and I'm going to place them from the bottom to the top, working my way up on that right side. I'm going to start with the larger hearts and then keep going to the smaller ones. Once the hearts were attached, I'm going to use my X-Acto knife and cut off that little area there where it's planked. I do want to keep that planked look. So I'm just going to cut on both sides and then just peel it off. This is just going to clean it off and really just make it look nice and professional. Very, very pretty. Although it's not really needed, I did sand down just a little bit those little edges in there in the planked area because I just felt like it needed it. I'm going to add some leafy greens. These are just ones from a pick that I have from Walmart. I'm going to glue 2 of them to the left upper side and add this beautiful pink flower right there in the center. It brings everything together. Love how feminine this is, how beautiful and gentle it is. What do you think of this one? Let me know down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we are going to take this poster board pack and use one of them. They come 6 in the pack, and I love that they come already cut for me. I'm going to fold one of them in half, and then we're going to cut off a little bit from the outside, just about 1.5 inches, and then about 4.5 inches from the top. We're creating a fun greeting card. I love creating these with decals because it is just fun to make greeting cards for your loved ones. This Laugh Everyday decal, it was part of a larger one, as you can tell, but I had it left over. I'm just going to cut off the part that says everyday, and I just love how it just sticks so perfectly and it's clear. Love it. Now this love decal has rainbows and beautiful colors. I'm just going to use the love portion and place it right above the everyday. How cute is that? Now we're going to cut off the edges, just kind of round them off to make it a little bit more custom, but you can skip this part if you want. Now I'm going to open up the card and we are going to place one of the rainbows. The colors are just so pretty. I'm going to peel it off and place it centered right there on the inside towards the bottom. Still gives you room to write a nice cute message. I'm going to then fold it and just kind of use my fingers to just make sure that decal is bending and folding where it needs to. I'm going to open it up one more time and I'm going to add one scripture. I love the scripture. It says, do everything in love. And you can find it on 1 Corinthians chapter 16, verse 14. Love that it goes with the whole theme. And there's still room to write a personalized message on the other side. Love the way this one turned out. I love giving greeting cards. I love creating them. There's such a personal touch to them. This one would be perfect for any loved one or friend. What do you think of this one? Let me know down in the comments. This next DIY craft is so unique. I think you're going to love it. So we're going to start with one of these hanging shelves from Dollar Tree. We're just going to fill in those holes that it has, just two on the bottom. You don't need the ones on the other side. Once dry, I sanded it down, including the entire thing to make sure it has no splinters and it's nice and smooth. Dusted it well, and then I'm going to paint the whole thing white using Waverly chalk pen in the white. Of course, I'm going to let that dry, and then we're going to bring in this love ladder style sign from Dollar Tree. I've had it for a while, actually since like the Valentine's Day season. So I'm just going to try to carefully remove the love portion using my heating gun as well as my little scraper, and it worked really well. I really went very carefully because I didn't want to snap it. Any remaining glue, I just try to remove it as best as I can. I am going to paint it black. I'm going to use Waverly chalk pen in the ink color. It is really black, so it's going to cover any imperfections. But I did sand it down and wiped it very well. I'm going to give it one coat and then let that fully dry. And then, of course, we got to bring in the paper that we're going to be using. It's another red one. I don't know why I was so attracted to the red one, but this one also has such texture. All right, so I'm going to fold it in half very carefully, making sure that I'm not tightening or folding it too tightly in the center. And I'm going to cut off what will be a heart. So I'm just going to do a half heart, cut it, and then when you open it up, you have a nice even heart. And I'm going to hot glue that to the bottom right corner of the board. Then we're going to bring in the love portion and we're going to hot glue that to the left side. All right, friends, I do want to encourage you to join my email list. I email once a week with current uploads as well as new news from my business. So check out that link. It is down in the description box. All right, we're going to bring in a few more of those leaves because I really like them. I'm just going to hot glue several just towards the bottom just to add a little bit of texture and greenery look. I've used this technique many times before. I'm just going to make some faux knots. I love using this because that way we don't have to just have tiny little rope. We can use a nice thick rope. So I'm going to hot glue 2 faux knots right on top of the holes that were already on the board. And I'm going to cut off the excess rope on each side and then hot glue it. And then on the back, we're just going to add another piece of the rope. Nothing fancy. You know I love to have something to hang it with, although it is optional. And look how stunning this looks. I love the way it looks. It's very romantic, but fresh and unique. I love it. Let me know what you think. I'm not going to pretend you haven't seen like about 100 versions of these farmhouse trucks, but I'm going to give you one more idea. I am going to cut a piece of the wrapping paper to fit the truck, and then I'm going to cover with some masking tape the little rails portion. I'm going to spray the top of the farmhouse truck with some adhesive spray, and then the piece that I cut of wrapping paper was actually backwards, so I had to cut another piece. Placed it on top, and now I'm just cutting off the excess paper from all around the edges. I'm also going to poke where all the little like wheels and the windows are. And then I'm going to use a technique that I learned from my upcycled life. I love this technique. You take a lighter just like this and you just very carefully, of course, burn the edges. They're going to burn just all the way up to the edge of the wood. This has to be done in a ventilated place. Make sure that you have water near you. Just take all the precautions as needed. But the effect that it gives it is stunning. It burns all the way down to the edge, and it gives it this burnt vintage antique look that I really love. Look how stunning that looks. I'm going to take my X-Acto knife. I'm just going to cut off that top portion where the masking tape was and just going to remove it. Look how pretty it's already looking. You can leave it like this with the brown tone. I did decide to paint it white. I'm just going to use some Waverly chalk pen in the white. And then I'm going to use some antiquing wax by Waverly. And I'm just going to antique it just a little bit all around the edges. This is just going to add a little bit more character. And it's also going to match the style overall. I'm going to take these little cute little flowers. I believe I got these. I don't think it was at Dollar Tree. I think it was Walmart. I'm just going to cut a couple little branches and hot glue them to the back of the truck. That way it's going to look like the bed of the truck is filled with these beautiful flowers. I'm going to cover the back with some masking tape just to make it a little cleaner and smoother. Then I'm going to take my little nail filer here. I'm just going to smooth off just those little flaky edges just a little bit. I'm going to add a couple of these wooden blocks from Dollar Tree behind each tire. That way it's going to be able to be standing up, and I Love this one. I cannot believe how beautiful it looks. Such a beautiful decor to add to your Valentine's Day. For the next Dollar Tree craft, I'm going to take this galvanized heart I found in the crafting section. I removed the tag, and then I'm going to take this beautiful wrapping paper. It has this beautiful pink tone with these hearts on it. And I'm going to cut several strips of about 2 inches. I'm not too worried about them being exactly 2 inches. I'm just going to cut several strips as close as possible to the same size of each other. I'm going to join them together, and then I'm going to cut them in pieces that are 4 inch wide. I'm going to stack them up, and then I'm going to take 2 at a time, and I'm just going to face them back to back, and I'm going to fold them and just kind of scrunch them on the bottom to make a little something like this. Then I'm going to make a whole ton of them because we are going to start hot gluing them inside the heart. The key to this is to make sure that you are hot gluing them as close to each other as possible. But don't stress if you can see a little bit of the galvanized in between. We're going to fix that in a little bit. So I'm going to add the last one here, but as I mentioned before, you're going to see a little bit through those, and you're going to see some of those galvanized. I'm just going to add a few here and there, right in between where you see the little gaps, and a little bit of hot glue goes a long way. Then I took these little flowers, same ones from earlier, just another little branch. I'm going to take off the leafy greens as well as the flowers, and I'm going to start hot gluing each little flower bud in between here and there the paper. This is just going to add a beautiful touch. And then I'm going to take the greenery leafy part, and I'm going to cut them into separate little leaves. And then I'm just going to hot glue them here and there to add that vibrant touch of green. I think the green really made a huge difference. It's just stunning. I left the jute string, but I think ribbon will look beautiful. Look how stunning this looks. It's definitely one of my favorites from today. I love the vibrant pink. Stunning. For the next Dollar Tree craft, I'm going to take 3 of these galvanized hearts that you can find in the crafting section of Dollar Tree. I grabbed 3 because I have a plan for them. Look at this beautiful wrapping paper. Wow, this one is stunning. I'm going to open it up. I'm just going to place all 3 hearts right next to each other, and I'm going to trace them. Nothing perfect, really just tracing them. And once I have them traced, I'm going to cut each and every one of them separately. Again, not looking for perfect cut because we are going to make these hearts smaller than what they already are. Once I have them cut, I'm going to fold them in half, and then I am going to cut about a 1/2 inch inside of the edge of each heart. This is going to give me a smaller heart, nicely cut, that's going to fit right in the center of the galvanized heart with a nice edge showing. I am now going to take the Gorilla adhesive spray once again. I'm just going to spray the back of the paper of each heart. And then I'm going to place them in the center of each galvanized heart. I'm going to just lightly press it. And then I'm going to start from the bottom up and just kind of fold and press in between each ridge. That way we're going to keep the beautiful design that these galvanized hearts have. And it's very easy. And I'm going to do the same thing with the other 2 hearts. And now that I have them done, I'm going to flip them over, and I'm going to set them one on top of each other, just like you see, just about 2 inches apart from each other. Then I'm going to take this beautiful lace ribbon from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to hot glue it all the way from the bottom to the top. What I'm going to do on the top here is I am going to fold it just like that, just loop it. I'm going to cut off the excess and hot glue it to itself. This is going to give me a portion on the top where I can hang the decor from. Look how beautiful it already looks. I'm going to take these roses from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to cut 3 of them. I'm going to take the leafy portion first, and I'm going to hot glue it on the top of each heart. I'm going to take the rose apart, and then I'm going to cut off just a little bit of the remaining stem of the rose and hot glue it on top of each leafy green. Again, that green really just makes this beautiful touch of color, and I think this one is just so beautiful. It is quite large, and I just love that these galvanized hearts, that beautiful shape. I just think it's stunning. For the next Dollar Tree craft, I am going to take these wooden shelf. You can find these in the picture frame area, and I'm just going to cut off a piece of the same rose wrapping paper, and I'm going to start tearing the sides. I love using this technique. I'm going to use the same wooden shelf to guide me because I want it to look torn but not too much. So I'm just going to do the same thing on all edges. That way all of them are going to have that nice torn look. I'm going to dry fit it just to see if I need to cut more, and I did. The sides were just a little too snug, so I'm just going to cut about another 1/4 of an inch, and that did the work. I'm going to bring in some white paint. This is just going to paint the edges. I don't need the whole thing painted because you're not going to see the whole thing, but you are going to see those edges. So I'm just going to paint it with some white Waverly chalk paint and let that dry. I'm going to take these wooden numbers from Dollar Tree. I'm going to grab number 4, number 1, and number 2. This is going to be for February 14th, which is Valentine's Day. I'm going to paint him in this beautiful green color by Bear, and I am going to just let that dry. One coat was sufficient. I'm going to take some Mod Podge, and I way overdid it. I don't know what I was thinking. I weighed too much on it, but I did grab a little towel, and I just removed the excess. I don't know what I was thinking. I just took my time very patiently, and I just got it until it was nice, thin coat. Once I had it where I wanted, I'm just going to place the paper right on top. It did get some bubbles. I have lost my battle with Mod Podge. I don't know what to do, but I have learned to just appreciate the bubbles. I flattened them out as much as I could, and then I took the 2, the 1, and the 4, placed them to the bottom right. I'm going to hot glue them in place, but I'm going to leave a little space in between the 1 and the 2. And that is about it for this one. What a beautiful concept. I love having the 2, the 1, and the 4. I think it's just very clever, very subtle. And I love the paper, and I love the way it looks. For the next wrapping paper hack, I am going to take this thrifted flag sign that I found at Goodwill, and I'm just going to sand it down just a little bit because it had a little bit of a rough edge to it, just a little bit of a rough feel. I'm going to paint the edges just like I did the previous one. This one's going to be a little bit like the previous one, but I'm going to show you something different. I'm going to take this beautiful wrapping paper. Now, this one's not from Dollar Tree. I did find this one at, I think it was Home Goods. It was such a great quality, and the design was beautiful. But you can do this with any Dollar Tree wrapping paper. I'm going to mark kind of like with my fingers where those edges are, and then I'm going to tear again. Again, I said that it's going to be similar to the one before, but this time I'm not going to have anything guide me. I'm going to tear it up, literally. I want these tear to be thick, just very torn. Once I had it where I wanted, I'm going to add Mod Podge once again. This time I was very careful. I just added it until I had a thin coat. And then I'm going to place it just like I did the other one right in the center. I got bubbles in this one again, even using the little roller. I don't know what to do. But in the end, it turned out fine. I'm going to add some Mod Podge on this one right on top to seal it. This wrapping paper is thicker, so I want it to be nice and protected. Once I had it in place and all dry, I am going to sand it down. This is going to give it a little bit more of a distressed look, farmhouse look. I did end up distressing the edges just a little bit more with my sanding block. Once I had them in place, I'm going to take these beautiful little flowers that I got at Dollar Tree and some greenery, grassy ones, and I'm going to place them right in the center. I'm going to drill a couple of holes on each side of the bundle. I'm going to thread some jute string so that we can tie them on the back. Once I had it in place, I'm going to take some burlap ribbon. I'm just going to make a very simple bow. I'm going to loop it, scrunch it in the center. I'm going to tie it with some jute string, and I'm going to angle cut the legs. I'm not scared to take a chance. Yeah, I'm so happy that I found you. And that I'm yours. I'm going to hot glue it right where the jute string is, and this is just going to add a nice touch and also hide the jute string. I'm going to cut off the excess stems from the bottom. I'm going to add a sawtooth hook to the back of it so that we can hang it. And that's it for this one. I gotta say, this one is so beautiful. It has more neutral colors, but still very beautiful. Love the size and the quality of it because it's real wood. Next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm gonna take this wreath form. It is a wire, it is heart shaped, and it's a pretty good size. I'm also gonna take one of these towels from the automobile section at Dollar Tree. I'm gonna cut them into strips. If you have fabric scissors, this is the best way to cut these towels. My regular scissors were not doing a good job, but fabric scissors are awesome, and I do have these in my Amazon store. I cut the strips to about 2.5, maybe some of them 3 inches. No need for them to be completely even. I'm going to start wrapping the wreath form all around. There's no magic to this, no special technique. Pretty much just make sure that all the seams are on the back of the wreath form. That way it's going to look nice and clean in the front. Done wrapping it up, and then I'm just going to cut off some of those back little corners just so that it's cleaner. You don't need to because they're in the back, but just so that it's a bit more smooth and clean. I'm going to take these faux ferns from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to grab 2 of each color. They have like a lighter color and a dark color, and I'm going to place 2 facing down and 2 facing up on the left side of the heart. I'm going to then take this beautiful flower, also from Home Goods, on sale. I grabbed a bundle, and this one is leftover from Christmas, and I just hot glued it right in the center. Doesn't that look so pretty? Then I'm going to take this little grassy picks. I'm just going to take 2 of the little grass, hot glue them to the top and 1 to the bottom. This is just going to add a little bit of touch of greenery. This heart is stunning. It's definitely my favorite from today. Has such a romantic look to it. Beautiful. For the next Dollar Tree craft, I'm going to take this wooden heart sign from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to remove the little black portion from it very carefully because I do want to reuse it. I'm not going to remove the paper from the front, but you can do that if you want to. I'm just going to sand it down using my electric sander. It's quicker and it just roughens up that surface and it keeps it very matte because we are going to give it a couple of coats of paint. So I'm just going to wipe it down really well and then give it 2 coats of Waverly chalk paint in the white, and then of course let it fully dry. I am then going to bring in these printable that I got, and I printed here in a laser printer. Now, I have never attached or transferred any color printed graphics on anything. I've always used Mod Podge with just like a black and white design. So this is going to be a first for me. Let's see if it works out. I'm going to apply some Mod Podge. This is after I remove the excess paper from around the design. Once I had the Mod Podge where I wanted it, I'm just going to place the design, making sure that I smooth out any bubbles and that it is as attached as possible. My mistake was that I did not give it enough time for it to dry, and you're going to see here in a minute what happened. But I'm going to put it to the side and let it dry. The little black board, I am going to paint in that pink again from Rust-Oleum chalk paint. I'm going to give it 2 coats. This is just going to add it to the design, some color, and it's going to look so cute. All right, so here's where things go a little south. I'm going to use the wet rag, and I'm sure you've seen this before. You just want to wet the surface with a damp towel and just start removing that top portion of the paper and revealing the design. Because I did not give it enough time to dry, it did remove a lot of the design. It was my fault. I should have left it for a few more hours, but I just wanted to rush it. I was impatient. Now, I am going to make it work because it does have a distressed look, and I do like that look. Although I was not planning on it, we're going to make it work. So I removed as much as possible from that paper. Then I'm going to take a permanent marker, and I'm just going to write the word Valentine's right on the little pink board. Simple. I'm going to hot glue it to the bottom of the heart. That way it has the same kind of look that it had originally. These beads I already had on hand. They were already stained this color from previous projects. Some of them are brown, some are yellow, some are blue. So I'm just going to start creating some sort of pattern that kind of matches the amount of beads I have. I'm going to thread it through the top just like I did with the bead garland. I'm going to just thread it through the first bead and tie it and make sure that you do not see that knot. And I did the same thing on the other side, and that's it for this one. Now, I gotta say, I kind of like the way it turned out. I was gonna add some florals, but I said, you know what, let's just leave it like this. I think it's so, so cute. For the next Dollar Tree craft, I'm going to take this canvas style sign from Dollar Tree. You can find these all the time in the picture frame area. So I'm going to grab this one. I'm going to give it 2 coats of Rust-Oleum chalk paint in the linen white, and of course let it dry. Then I'm going to take this round brush. It's kind of like a waxing brush. I'm also going to take some Rust-Oleum chalk paint in the country gray, and I'm just going to make some stripes going from top to bottom. The stripes are going to be about 2 inches apart from each other. And then I'm going to bring in one of the Dollar Tree decals. You know, I love using these decals. They're so wonderful to use. And this one has a beautiful scripture. There's one of my favorites. And it's about love, so I thought it was perfect. I'm going to place it to the right side of the sign. And that's it. It doesn't get any easier than this. I just placed it the best I could, making sure there's no bubbles. And I think it turned out so adorable. How cute would this be added to any decor already in your home, just to add a little bit of scripture, but also just a beautiful message, perfect for Valentine's or any other day. And we are going to begin with this board. This is part of the summer collection boards from Dollar Tree. I'm going to cut off the little sailing boat from the top, and I'm just doing the little technique that I usually use, which is scoring, snapping, and then sanding smooth for a smooth finish. Once I had it where I wanted, I'm just going to give it a couple of coats of Waverly chalk paint in the white. And then while that is drying, I'm going to take some cardboard. The cardboard that I have is from a box from a tool that we got during the Christmas season. It is very thick and is very durable. I loved it. This little wooden heart came from the Target dollar spot. I only have one, so I'm going to use it as my guide to trace it 3 times on the cardboard. And then I'm going to cut the hearts out. I'm going to use a blade knife that I recently got on Amazon. It is fantastic. The shape of it, the angle that it has for your hand, and how sharp it is phenomenal for doing crafts with cardboard. And I do have it on my Amazon store. If you want to check it out, it is linked down below. I'm going to take some of this crafting paper, and I'm just going to adhere it with some adhesive spray onto each heart. Then using an X-Acto knife, I'm just going to cut off the excess paper as close as possible to the cardboard. Once I had them nice and cut, we are going to cover those edges with some nautical rope from Dollar Tree. That way you're not going to see the cardboard portion on the sides. You can also paint them if you don't have any rope, or you can use ribbon if you have ribbon instead. I am making sure that I am starting and ending the rope at the top of each heart. That way we can cover it with some string here in a little bit, because I want to add a little cute bows using some jute string. I'm going to wrap it around my fingers, and I'm just going to roll it around a few times, and then I'm going to kind of join it in the center and join it with some jute string. And then we're going to hot glue it to the top of each heart after we fan out the little loops a little bit. I wanted to add a little flower to each, so I'm going to grab these little white ones that I already had on hand. I'm going to cut off the little excess stem from the bottom and hot glue them to the bottom of each bow. And then it's time to simply attach the hearts to the whiteboard that we painted earlier. Basically, I'm just going to line them up vertically, but you can also do it horizontally. I think this would look good either way. I'm going to just kind of stack them in a color scheme that kind of looks good. And then I'm just going to hot glue it together. Because they're made out of cardboard, they stick really well with hot glue, one on top of each other. And then I'm just going to add more nautical rope to the back. This is so that we can hang it. You can also hot glue a sawtooth hook if you prefer, but I think the nautical rope really just pulls everything together. And I love this one. I put it first because it is so cute. It is just springy and feminine. I just love the way it looks. Next Dollar Tree craft, I'm going to take one of these little Valentine's Day craft signs from Dollar Tree. I'm going to remove the little plaque from it and the jute string. And then we're going to take some of these dusting mops from Dollar Tree. One of them I already used for another project, but we're going to use the large one first. We're just going to hot glue it right on top. Very easy. You've seen me use these dusting mops before. They just add a lot of texture and coziness to any decor, any craft you make. Then I'm going to add the other piece right next to it. Once I add it, I'm just kind of fluff it in the middle so they kind of join together and you will never know that there were two separate pieces. Just like magic. I'm going to flip it over and I'm just going to cut the X's all around the heart. I'm not going to lie, you know this is messy, but take your time, be patient, and just trim here and there where you need it until you have what you want. I'm going to take this little beautiful peony from Amazon. I get them in bundles, and this is a beautiful pink. I'm going to use some other ones towards the end of the video, but this one we're just going to hot glue right there towards the right side of the heart. And I'm just going to move the leaves around until I kind of know where I want them and then hot glue them in place. Instead of just leaving them wherever they fell, I just felt like it just needed to be moved around just a little bit. I'm going to add these tiny little flowers. I think I got these at home if I'm not mistaken. Just going to take 3. 2 to the right side and 1 to the left side. So dainty, so pretty. I thought it needed something else. I found this jute and pink kind of ribbon. I want to say it was maybe Dollar General, but it could be Dollar Tree. I'm going to make a very simple ball. Just loop it in the center, scrunch it, tie with a jute string, and then hot glue it underneath the flower. I think this just added just enough touch of that ribbon to make it very cool. And then I'm going to add a small little jute string to the back, secure with hot glue as well as some duct tape, and that's it for this one. It's such an easy craft. I love the background. I love that it's so fluffy and bright, and that pink flower is just the perfect amount of color. Beautiful. On a recent trip to Dollar Tree, I found these heart-shaped wreath forms. They're perfect for Valentine's Day, but I think they're good for any other part of spring. So I'm going to take one of them and I'm going to wrap it up with this beautiful burlap green ribbon from Dollar Tree. I'm going to use the entire roll. I was hoping it'd be enough to cover the entire thing, but it wasn't. And then I didn't have any more on hand at least. And I didn't want to go back to Dollar Tree. So we're just going to wrap it around as tight as I can, covering the entire wreath form. And then I'm going to take some neutral color burlap ribbon and I'm just going to finish off in the area where we didn't have enough. I know you love watching video tutorials, but if you love a written format, I do have a blog that I post every single week and I have these videos in a written format. So check it out. It is linked down below. Alright, so I'm going to attach, like I said, the neutral color burlap just all around that little area. Now, you're not going to be able to see it because we're going to cover it up with some florals, but I wish I would have had enough so it's just nice and even. But it's okay. It worked out in the end. So I'm just going to secure it in the back with some hot glue, and then we're going to add some florals. These are some florals that I got from my mother-in-law for Christmas. I love when she gives me some floral picks because she knows that I love to craft with them. I'm going to cut off some excess stems and we're just going to start placing them here and there in between on that upper right corner of the heart. I'm going to clip a little hole on this one just so that I can get that stem right in there with some hot glue and it's not going to go anywhere. I'm going to fluff it and bend it as needed so that it has the shape of the heart. And then I'm going to add some picks here and there, some single ones, just to kind of fill it in and on those gaps that you can see a lot of that ribbon. And then we're going to bring in some cute little pink flowers that I also got from my mother-in-law for Christmas. We're just going to start adding hot glue and placing them all in that kind of like center area, moving towards the bottom and the top wherever it needs it. And we're just about done with this one. I gotta say, I think this one is my favorite. I love them all, but I just love the color combination. That green and that vibrant coral red is stunning. I have another video here for you with tons more of Dollar Tree DIY crafts inspiration. Check it out. I'll see you later and have a blessed day. Bye.